Time now for an in-depth look at the market news on this Friday, and for that I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, thank you as always for coming on today.
Thank you for having me today.
The WHO has of course declared the coronavirus outbreak a global emergency, only the 6th time it's ever done that. What kind of effect has this declaration had on the markets, and how do you see this playing out?
Yes, as you said, the World Health Organization declared on Thursday that coronavirus epidemic in China now is a public health emergency of international concern. However, the WHO director announced the decisions in terms of intertraveling. It is not prohibited. He has also said that let it be clear that this declaration is not a vote of no confidence in China. The greatest concern is the potential for the virus to spread to other countries with weaker health systems. And he showed some confidence in terms of having control over this disease by Chinese government. Clearly, after that announcement, if you look at the U.S. market, it has recovered. Before that, it was falling by around 1 percentage point. It recovered, and U.S. market recovered by around 0.2 to 0.3% from 3 major indices. So clearly, the signals is positive in that the U.S. market is kind of seems to be immune from this, but as for the Korean market, though, it is getting quite heavily affected, and some of the Asian market, including Taiwan as well as Japan, were getting affected more severely than U.S.
Yeah, as you say, this afternoon, pretty much as soon as it was announced that there were 4 new cases of coronavirus in the country here, we saw the local markets take a dive. Tell us about that.
Right, as you said, I'm not sure whether that is that severely concerned, but nevertheless, people were heavily concerned about the coronavirus and that Korean market had a massive decline, and it is the last day of January, so it kind of went together. If you look at the Korean market, yesterday it heavily sold. It was down by 1.7% for Kospi, and the Kosdaq was down over 2%. And then today, it was reasonably doing okay, and then it fell again by 1.35% for Kospi. Kosdaq is actually down by more than 2%. Continuously, this key concern is that whether this coronavirus will have any massive implications for the domestic consumption, given the fact that there's Korea is quite heavily dependent on the Chinese travelers. So the tourist-related industries might be heavily affected in the future. We don't really know how aggressively the implication will be, so people are kind of not happy with the uncertainties, and therefore that is affecting the market at this point in time. However, though, we think that the fatality rate of this disease is only 2.2% rate. So we don't think that this will be a very long-term lasting, and that the Korean equity market seems to be extremely cheap in terms of the valuation, including the PR as well as the PBR. And the overall Korean market has heavily dependent on the export side, and we think that the export plays will be reasonably okay, including the semiconductor businesses. So the reaction is very heavy, but I think it's overreacting, and always it creates a buying opportunities. But we don't know when this disease kicking in terms of numbers of people. So we need to watch and then create a strategy where you buy into the dip rather than buying aggressively in the future.
Got it. Well, we also see global oil prices on course for their worst month in quite a while, also, of course, because of the coronavirus. What's happening there, and what's your outlook?
Right. As far as the most of other market and also various financial instruments are showing stabilities. A lot of people kind of piled into the safety assets, including gold, silver, and bonds of U.S. At the beginning of this, but in the recent days, we are seeing that stabilizing. Oil price did tank as low as $52, but now it is up back to about $54 level. Also, the interest rates fell as low as 1.5% territories for 10 years U.S. government bond, but now it has recovered to reasonably to about 1.6% territories. Also, even Taiwanese market, Japanese market all showed some recovery today. So most of the people are kind of taking a little bit of breather. Also, I think the people are expecting that the money supply growth rate from the China as well as U.S. will pick up if any concerns in regards to the economic recession worries happens. So therefore, we think that we have a very strong government on both sides of China as well as U.S. And because of that, we think that the proper measures will be made to provide ample liquidity as well as the fiscal support. So we don't think that global economy will go into global recession. We think that we'll see fairly reasonable growth period in this year.
All right, Mr. Yu, we'll have to leave it there for today. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing your insights. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.